So the beginning of set 12 stuff is here, so let's begin. This time with Eugene, Solrairon, and some DokoVan with Lianorn and Granfia. So let's begin. But first, cards for the last few days, which this time is just DokoVan stuff. So to start off, we got Rose, Regen, Resident, Chip, Marth. It's a grade 1 with keep powering the skills. Auto, rearguard once per turn. When you have 3 or more plant gauges and would discard them at the same time for the cost of your card ability, during that turn, this card gives us 5 key power. Definitely Granfia support because it says plant gauges. It's just an okay card for Granfia, but I'd rather run more token generators. Next, Blessing of Blossoming Buds, which is a grade 0 normal order, and the skill is during your turn, all your units with original power that is 5k or less gets plus 10k power. And this skill, auto rearguard, when this card attack hits, you may return the unit to your hand. For generic use wise, for not tokens, you can use triggers for attack hit beaters, and also early game aggression in a way. Not ideal, but it is doable with this. But other than that, I could say this card can be used with tokens, I guess, because the tokens are 5k. But I really doubt you're going to be running this. And then we got Rosemium Fairy, which is a grade 1 with keep powering skills. Auto when placed on rearguard, cost retire one of your other rearguards, call up to 2 plant tokens to rearguard. Very generic skill here, and I would have to say, not too bad. The only thing is, you have to retire one of your other rearguards, so in my opinion, the Shroom is probably much better in this case. But it has a second skill where, auto rearguard, when this card attacks, if your Vanguard is Granfia or Lianorn, and your opponent's Vanguard is at least at grade 3, choose one of your other backward rearguards, and during that battle, this unit gains power equal to that unit's power. Keep this one in mind that it's not once per turn. So in Granfia's case, you're going to choose your Blood Rose token because lots of power right there. And for Lianorn, and in some cases Mask, you can restand this for a double attack with extra power. Or use Resonance Dragons with Lianorn because why not? But overall, it's not too bad a card, especially for generic usage. The first skill just grants you 2 tokens, which can still be used with Lianorn there because that's 3 boosters right off the bat. But if you're going to be calling tokens, I'd rather run Shrooms because that one just generates 2 tokens and a soul for free. And now to the Tuesday stream itself. First off, we're going to start off with the new Eugene cards, one of them being a replacement for the grade 1 of the Ride line, Quaking Bullet of Duststorm Roderick. Grade 1 keep powering skills. Auto, when rode upon by the grade 2 of the Eugene Ride line, Randor, if your opponent has no rearguards, draw a card. In the early game, this is definitely doable, but it's actually not too bad to be not able to trigger this skill. Why? Because you want to be retiring your opponent's rearguards anyway. So making your opponent call something so you don't plus can actually be a plus for you as well. But anyway, second skill, Act Soul. Cost, retire rested rearguard, call this to rearguard, and this card gives us 5k power into end turn. The rested rearguard part is not really an issue at all because Eugene already rests his 2 rearguards to retire something. Most of them do have restand skills, but for those that don't, you can just straight up replace that unit with this, which also makes this a pretty good choice soul charge card, which Randor can do, but also force your opponent to call something so you don't plus. Or in a way, it's still a plus for you. And on top of that, it's still not going to be useless even if you can't play the first skill. So overall, not too bad. The main thing that you do lose, unfortunately, is the soul charge because Eugene does use 5 soul to call something, but not as often anymore. For the most part, you're just using the soul for your support cards. Next, Wild Bullet of Duststorm Clifton. Grade 1 keep powering skills. Auto rearguard. When this card attacks or boosts, if your opponent's rearguard was retired by card ability this turn, by your Vanguard anyway, this card gives us 2k power to end the battle for each of your opponent's open rearguard. Not bad, you're going to be definitely clearing up your opponent's board, so this could actually be up to an 18k attacker or booster. But now to the second skill, Auto rearguard. At the end of battle, this unit boosts if your Vanguard is Eugene. Cost, retire this unit. Choose up to 3 cards from your soul. If you choose 1 or more, return them to the deck and shuffle it. If you did not countercharge this turn, countercharge 1. At first, this may seem a little dumb to lose out your soul, but Eugene has the ability to Soul Blast 5 to look at the top cards of your deck equal to the number of your opponent's open rear guards to call, and whatever you don't call from the top cards will go to Soul. And in many occasions, there are going to be triggers. So this in a way isn't entirely too bad because you're basically just reshuffling your triggers. You only use Eugene's Soul Blast 5 skill for emergency purposes usually. And also just being an added countercharger is just a nice bonus as well. But you mainly use this card for the extra power buff and kind of recycling from your soul. Next for some Solrairon support, our first card is Divine Sister Discourse. Grade 1 AK Power and Skills. Auto rear guard once per turn. When your other unit is placed by card ability, cost +1, draw a card. And if it was placed by Solrairon, that unit gets +5 key power during the end of the turn. For generic use wise, you can technically +1 to draw a card since a lot of catered decks do call by card abilities. But the Solrairon part is just an extra bonus for extra 5k, which is very nice. Finally, Sagely Dragon Wisdom Claw Dragon, which is a grade 2 with 10k power and the skills. Auto, when placed on rearguard from deck, aka Solrairon, this card gives us 5k power to end the turn. 15k attacker for multi-attack. But anyway, second skill, Auto, when placed on rearguard, if your Vanguard is Solrairon, look at the top card of your deck, put it on the top or bottom of the deck. Then you can +1 to reveal the top card of your deck, and you may call it to open rearguard if it's a unit card. If you did not call a card, put it to soul. This is okay for Solrairon. I would have to say Solrairon already has the interesting concept of constantly looking at the top card of your deck. It's just not that great in my opinion still that you can only do it on the top card. It is nice that you can choose to leave it at the top or bottom, and it's free on that end. And if you choose to leave that at the top, you can play the second part of the skill to pay the cost to call that card to rearguard. Or in some cases, you might want it for the soul ability. So overall, it's not too bad for Solrairon because peeking at the top card of your deck is very important for Solrairon, and calling those cards from the top card of your deck will also trigger more abilities. And the peeking part is free, so that is actually pretty nice already. So that's it for this support wave of the first cards of set 12. What do you guys think of it? Lianorn and Granfia. That one card is not too bad, I'm not gonna lie. Granfia is very likely to play it, but for Lianorn, not entirely too sure, but the 2 tokens is pretty nice right there because that is like 3 boosters right off the bat. New Eugene cards, I was not expecting a new Ride Line card. I'm just gonna say that right now. But overall, not entirely too bad. Solrairon just is a new deck, so it just needs more cards overall. But other than that, that's it for this, and see you all next time.